Okay, let's turn him on. So he's on, got some light.
Welt Pocket by Tina.
That's so funny.
C1.
Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what's the right side of our welt. It's really important. So we need to fold our pocket in our welt in half, lay it on top as though it would be stitched on, pretending. The sides need to be parallel with the sides coming up and down. Okay, and that means that this side here, I'm going to put the pin in on top. That side there is my right side of my welt, or my good side of my welt. If I accidentally flip it over and had it going the wrong way, see how the sides aren't parallel? Up and down, these sides are going at a different angle. That's the wrong way. So when you put your welt on and to find out your right side of your welt, you must put it on, and the sides must be parallel with the sides. If they're not parallel with the sides, if this is a true jacket front, they would be parallel with your centre front, parallel with your grain line. Okay, so that's how you'd know. But you need to mark what is your right side of your welt. That's really important, because for stage one, we're going to fold it in half and we're going to bag out the ends. Except we don't bag it out flat as a tack like that. We actually need to set our front, or our right side, in a little bit to make that longer. Can you see how that's longer? Okay, and the reason we want to make our true side, or our good side, longer is so when we stitch in our welt at the end, if I flip it up and that's my good side, see how you can't see any ugly seams leaching over the edge? But if I flip it back to my wrong side, see how the right wraps around, so that ugly seam is tucked inside so you can't see it. And that's really, really important when you're doing a welt, purely because your welt, or especially if it's a breast pocket, is right in front of you, right next to your face, so it's right at eyesight view. So, and that's really important because it's the first thing people look at when they look at you, if they can see ugly seams hanging out the end. So you need to align it so that with your front, or your right side on top, that you come in 3 mils at the bottom. So there should be 3 mils gap, which what it means is that on your front you have a 1 centimetre seam, but on your back you'll probably have a bigger seam allowance. Your seam allowance on the back will be 13 mils. Okay, and then for our front we're going to stitch back tack, stitch down on both sides. So put him on top. 1 centimetre seam allowance. So turn him on. Thread comes out. Again, 1 centimetre seam allowance. So on your good side, you've got 1 centimetre seam allowance. On the bad side, or the underside, you should have slightly more seam allowance on the bottom. It'll start with 1 centimetre at the folded edge at the top. It'll be slightly bigger at the bottom. Flip him around. Do the same to the other side. 1 centimetre seam allowance all the way up. Okay, so the trickiest part of this is figuring out what's your front and making sure that front is a longer seam or a longer edge, and the underside is shorter so that it wraps around and it conceals all that hideous seam. Okay, that is stage one. Okay, easy stage one, but the trickiest part is just making sure that you fold it the correct way, put it on top here to make sure that your seams are parallel, and then to fold it in the other, and then mark what your right side is first, and then fold it in the other way, okay, to do your bagging out of your ends. Any questions on that? No? Okay, so that's stage one, go for it.